Okay, welcome everybody to the Wall Street Reporter Chart Chat, Sunday night, April 18th. What's happening in the markets? Great things. Stocks are, we have a tale of two cities. We have some of the big cap, mega caps going up. Micro caps are going down, and Bitcoin is going. Where is Bitcoin going? That is going to be the focus tonight. Let's take a look at this chart. It's pretty interesting. What's happened with Bitcoin, I think, is, and again, Bitcoin is kind of the this is the bellwether of speculation. This is the between Bitcoin and Tesla, this is the two big leaders. And what you're seeing kind of happening in Bitcoin is very similar to some of what you've been seeing in some of our stocks. Just when things look like they're going to break out, it kind of starts going in reverse. And take a look at this chart. I mean, Bitcoin right over here on the 12th, amazing close at 60. What is it? It was 63,000. At that point, it looked like it was going to go straight into the 70s and 80s, and then onwards to 100K plus. And again, I'm not a Bitcoin, I'm not a Bitcoin super fan. I'm just, kind of following where the market is going. So definitely the long-term trend of this, I believe, is still very, very strong. But what happened over here? I mean, this is kind of crazy. Out of nowhere, again, the 60,000 looked like you had some support. Okay, a bit of a pullback, and then you had this kind of flash crash, if you will. Let's look at this 1 hour chart here. What is this going to tell us? I think so this might have been, this could be your support right here, kind of your key reversal, I should say. Not support, it looks like a key reversal. Apparently, it looks like it's kind of working. But I will tell you exactly the reason why Bitcoin crashed. I know you're looking for the reason. I have the reason. This is absolutely, this is the real deal. I'll tell you exactly why Bitcoin crashed. But first, if you're brand new to the channel, make sure you press the like and subscribe button to join the channel. And of course, our links to our Telegram, our Discord, the Wall Street, all that is in the links in the video description down below. Hello, Anthony. Okay, so here's the reason why Bitcoin crashed. It's very simple. More sellers than buyers. That anybody can tell you, whatever. But out of nowhere, you had this kind of, these markets are not that super stable. And I guess this should be a warning. I mean, something like Bitcoin just had this massive crash like this. I mean, how can anybody be surprised about anything anymore, right? But so this is what's going on with Bitcoin. The daily chart. Let me go back to this. What happened to this chart here? This is all screwed up. This does not look good. I don't know. Okay, so how do we go to the Bitcoin? Okay, so it's hard. It's really kind of hard to tell where it's going short term, right? I mean, it looks like, again, you had this key reversal right here in that 54,000, 50. Actually, no. Let me see, 50. 53, 54,000. Looks like it's kind of stabilizing. It may hang around here a little bit. Let me go back to the daily. I mean, again, I think long term, I don't know what's going on with this chart here, but yeah, I mean, this completely screws up the chart. So anyway, it's not coming up, but yeah, this long term I think is going to be okay. But on a more important note, actually, first let me go back to Tesla, and then we'll go into our super stocks. Okay, Tesla. Again, one of the bellwethers. Had a pretty decent size correction from 900 to what is it, 550 range. I really thought it'd go to 400, but no, it kind of so it wasn't that bad actually. From 900 to 550, what is that, 30 something percent? I think if you watched our live streams, I think if I remember, it was a few weeks ago, we called this kind of bottom here, and that it would be making new highs. It's That's where it looks like it's going. It looks like it wants to go back to the old highs actually, and probably I would not be surprised if Tesla retakes towards the 1,000 range. I mean, actually, I'll tell you how much from 400 to. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla goes to 12, 1,300. I mean, that is it's kind of just, but it's probably gonna take a few months to do that. But it certainly looks like the direction. We got the Cathy Wood ARC ETF looking. It's trying to kind of catch its footing here. Okay. Okay, so let's go into our super stocks. Forget about all these Teslas. I mean, we're interested in stocks which have that 10x to 100x upside potential. Speaking of which, I see there's some guy on YouTube with a funny mustache and funny hats. Using some of our stuff. He's even following some of our old stocks. So yeah, we got so we have a lot of fans on the site. So we're happy to create opportunities for everybody to make money here. All right, so let's go into. Of course, we're going to talk about bets. One of the most controversial stocks we have right now. Overall, the picture. Yeah, overall, the picture is, the markets are pretty rough right now. The market is definitely, stocks have taken a beating. Pretty much all our stocks right now are down, I would say 35, 50% from the highs. So if you got in on the ground floor, you're still up. I mean, let's look at Fans Unite as an example. Perfect example. So it's a stock we introduced, in the 20-cent range last, at the end of last August. So September 1, let's call it. And went to 250, 225, 250. And it's had a pullback to right here, 87 cents. That's from 250 to 87. I mean, that's 60 something percent, which is your typical Canadian penny stock retracement. These things don't go 50%; they go 60% plus, just to shake everybody out. So before we get into fans, let me kind of give you kind of the big picture, which I think is very important to understand, because this is like across all our stocks right now. A couple of things to keep in mind. The fundamentals of these companies have not changed between now and from February, from Valentine's Day, when pretty much the markets peaked. Nothing has changed. In fact, for the most part, I would say 95%, maybe even 100%, they're all in a much better situation. The businesses are up. They got increasing revenues, deals, cash. These companies are sitting on right now a ton of cash. I mean, Trip has got raised $30 million. Red Light Holland's got $30 million. Fans United, I think, what did they got? 15 million cash. We got. I can go down the list. I mean, just about every one of these companies has raised. Is sitting on cash. Either they have a bunch of cash that they raised, or they're still in a very good position with millions in the bank. I don't think there's anybody I don't think we have anybody who's in a situation where it's kind of running low on fuel, which is critical because here is the reason why stocks get destroyed historically, especially you can see this like in the biotech sector a lot of times, is it's like a plane. If they're running low on fuel, the engine is out, and you know let's say stock is $5, it goes to $1, and the company doesn't have any cash, and they need to raise cash. You're gonna have a massive dilution at that point. I mean, they're gonna be raising it $1. I mean, it's just gonna be like this downward spiral. So, and that's when stocks really get blown up. So we don't have that. We don't have that situation here. I mean, all these companies right now are sitting on cash. At the same time, the flip side of this is because of their cash situation, they're in a good position to make acquisitions, do deals. I mean, so there's always two sides to everything. So things are really, fundamentally, things are good. From a market perspective, I mean, some of these charts look horrible right now. I mean, the momentum has kind of left. It's almost like, I'm going to use the surfing analogy. I would say to make money with these stocks, you got to be in the water. In other words, you can't be waiting on the beach, sitting on the sand, waiting for that perfect wave to come in, because you never know which wave is going to be that big wave. But right now, what's happened is the water. I mean, it's like it's completely gone out. I mean, the tide has completely gone out. I think this is what happens with tsunamis, if I'm not mistaken. Like, this is like a warning sign of a tsunami. It's like the water like completely goes out, like leaves, I don't know, like a mile out. Like, so I think that, and then it comes, crashing over. So, you need to be in the water to make the big bucks. Let's go with the fans right now. I think, again, for the last, let's say, month, I would say that about 2-3 weeks, I've been saying a lot of these things look like they're starting to bottom out. I was wrong. Apparently, it's going to take longer. Like fans, I said, I think March 31st, right around here, I said that things looked like they were hit a key support level and would bottom out. And apparently, I'm dead wrong, because here we are. It is continued to drift. But let's look at the 1-hour chart on fans. And again, the 1 hour kind of gives you a closer perspective, so you can see things happening in a little bit of a tighter time frame. This looks like like you're having a double bottom formation here. So you have this bottom here between what is it, 86 cents now, and again 86 cents back in early February, right before the big run up. So I think if I had to make a bet right here, so you had two possibilities of a bottom and a run up with fans. You had it right here, this March 31st. You had that, and right over this 99-cent range, $1. That was support number one. So it could have built a base there and rallied from there to go to new highs, or right over here, which is this February 4th level. And I think that's what it's going to do. Now, if I'm really wrong, you never know. 60 could go to 64 cents. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, this looks really, really like this is it. Again, with fans and a lot of these stocks, they kind of just test your patience. They kind of test your resolve, and they push it right over that limit, because really, I bet a lot of people sold out once it broke $1, which you can see from the chart. Like once the thing broke $1, wow, you had this just really sell off, a lot of panic selling. And how can you blame anybody? Okay, so let me go to a couple of comments and then we'll continue the charts. Susan, 88 cents. Okay, so averaging in here. Okay. I mean, I think right here is a pretty good. This is a pretty good entry point. Let's go into FCO. Okay, interesting. So we only have, right now, there's a couple of charts, really just a few charts that that are looking good, like in terms of like look like they're about to really move. FCO, I think, is one of them. And then we'll go into our, what everybody's waiting for, which is our, the soap opera, the telenovela. Um, okay, so FCO, kind of a similar chart. No, you have this kind of double bottom forming here. You have a base. You have kind of this base, like and this is the base to go to higher highs. So you had two possibilities of forming a base. You had it right here at 25 cents. It broke that support, and then you have it right here again. This is kind of your key support areas. Again, I'm looking at the 1 hour chart. And this Friday's close looks like it's got decently bullish chart pattern. So here's what to keep in mind with FCO, which I think is good, is they got the drill results coming in. So you have a lot of catalysts, you have a lot of fundamentals, things happening now, which could ignite, which could be the fuel, which is is the reason why the stock could move, right? So the chart, it looks like it's a pretty good setup right now, and with all the results starting to come in now between the silver stuff in Mexico, and then they have the news on this copper deal that they have in which they didn't even talk about before. So you have this, you have a 2-for-1 here. FCO, I think, is in a pretty good position. So if you like the resource sector, check out the interviews we've had with Peter. That's in a really good position. I think we could see some action in FCO this week. Fans, I think we're going to see some action this week. So that one is looking good. Let me look at, let's see, should we go into some of the ugly charts first, or should we cover the good ones first? No, we'll mix it up. Okay. I'll go into some of the neutral, or not neutral, but like, easy ones. Okay. Peak. So Peak is been Peak Fintech, PKK. We haven't heard from the CEO in over a month. And it's for a good reason, is because they're doing the financing, so they can't really do any promotion or anything that comes across like it's promotion. So until this thing closes, which is going to be, I don't know, soon here, they can't really do anything. But if you look at this chart, I mean, it looks amazing. It's really an amazing looking chart right now. On April 9th, beautiful, this beautiful kind of breakout. I mean, this thing looked like it was going to go through the moon. Now, in a normal market, it may have gone to the moon like the next day or the day after, but things are a little bit taking a little more energy right now. But it's still really nice. You have this kind of little flag forming here. I think we're going to see new highs in Peak Fintech this week. Again, keep in mind, this stock is it higher? Is it at all-time highs? Pretty much. I mean, it's pretty much. So it has not been affected by the market meltdown, which is amazing. I mean, really, when you think about it, that's a very, very strong indicator. So I think this week, Peak Fintech is in a very good position to move. Again, we're in a very rough market right now. You really have like these I don't want to say crosswinds. I mean, there's just a lot of resistance especially in the micro cap space. I mean, everything pretty much in micro cap penny stock world is off 50% or more. I think a lot of investors, I'm getting, from what I'm hearing, is a lot of the speculative money has moved into the cryptos, into the altcoins, and that's what they're into right now. They've moved into the altcoins, the bitcoins, because maybe there's more action there. Maybe they come back once with this little Bitcoin meltdown. Who knows? But yeah, that's definitely, so you've had this kind of tide go out. it's like this tsunami effect. I don't know if anybody's an expert on tsunamis, if we have any tsunami specialists here, but definitely the water has, the tide has, left the beach. It's very hard. This is a very difficult environment in which to catch a wave. So all these waves right now, I mean, they're not, yeah, we're not seeing like mega waves you can just jump on right now. FCO looks pretty good, fans looks pretty good. Peak looks like it could break out, but again, if this was February, December, November, when things were, the market was in FOMO momentum mode, you could see big numbers. Now it's, I think it'll, obviously it looks like it's going to break out higher, but how big of a move, it's hard to tell. I think that this peak could go to $455 pretty easily once it breaks out of here, based on what it's done in the past. But again, we're in this kind of backdrop of everything what's going on. So let's go into some of our crypto stocks. Crypto market. Yeah, this is the good thing. It's 24/7. This is like perfect for all the degenerates out there. Yeah. Okay. So my take. Okay. So great question. Okay. GBLC. I was actually going to pull this up right now. Pretty good interview with the new CEO. So I hope you guys like that. The guy actually, I think, they're on the right track. Okay, so first of all, forget about the fundamentals right now. We're talking about charts. We'll maybe talk a little bit about the fundamentals. Chart on GBLC is looking pretty good. Now, this is a stock we introduced at, it was right around here, was I think 30 cents, or is it 30? Yeah, right around, like in this 30-cent range. Okay, it pops right away the next day, right after we announce it. 49 cents. Okay, so you could have made 50% plus if you remember our platinum program. And then you had a kind of a shakeout, and now it's down. So you had from 30 cents, it's basically off 50% almost. And you had this kind of gap. They raised a bunch of money. They got 10 million in cash right now, or I guess they're putting it all to crypto, these altcoins or whatever it is they're doing. This chart actually looks pretty good. I mean, they closed the gap. I mean, you're seeing like it wants to go up. I mean, you're seeing a clear little up, and even though just the trend is small, I mean, it's promising. Like this thing definitely, I think we got to see if it can close above 20 cents here. I think once GBLC closes above 20 cents, it's going to be in a good position to move significantly higher. So I think it's a pretty interesting setup. Now, what's going to be the catalyst for this to move, and some of these other crypto-related stocks, is the Bitcoin going to 100,000. Again, I'm not a Bitcoin fan, but I do believe the Bitcoin will hit 100 grand, maybe even more. I mean, I think there's some crazy numbers being thrown around now. I mean, I thought I was the only nut saying 100,000 back in November or December, but I mean, there's people saying 300,000, whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. But it's definitely once the thing goes above that 80,000, that's when things are really gonna go crazy. And the move up, I think the move up in Bitcoin to 100,000 is gonna come so fast. It's gonna come so fast and furious. People's heads will explode. Would you mind hiding the comments so we can see? Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, let me take this off also. There you go. Okay. Let me change it up also. By the way, yeah, visit wallstreetreporter.com for latest news, videos, and interviews. And if you want to join the channel, not subscribe, but join, and actually, be able to do chat, be able to watch these videos afterwards, all that other good stuff. It's $9.99 a month. What a deal. What a great deal. We don't have the platinum program anymore, so if you by any chance, if you still have that, please cancel it, because what we're doing now when we introduce a new stock, we're just going to introduce it to everybody, let it have a massive dash, because we need momentum in these things now. So yeah, I am canceling that platinum program. The new stocks will be announced to everybody all at once, because I just want these things. One That first day action, I think, is very helpful. I'd rather have that happen than make a couple dollars from subscribers. I mean, I'm not really, I know, yeah, I'm not going to get rich on the $99 here. I want these stocks to have solid openings and get that momentum, which sets the pace for the whole program, right? And the markets are very difficult right now. Like the last few introductions we've had are didn't have big moves. If this was December, January, even February, they would have all doubled on that opening day. The last few have just they've had pops of, I don't know, 50%, 30%. Vinergy, okay, this is the new stock. So again, we kind of we announced this the other day. Although the company did kind of announce it, I guess they put out their thing overnight, so people knew about it by the opening. So Vinergy, very interesting. I spoke with the CEO last week. I was actually very impressed. What they're doing is they are essentially they're going to have a piece of a couple of crypto exchanges, and I think the crypto exchange theme, because of this Coinbase deal, I think it's going to be huge. And there's not a lot of good crypto stocks. So I think also the CEO, he's going to do a demo when he comes on Tuesday. I think 1 o'clock he's going to be on, 12:30, 1 o'clock. So VIN, I'm going to show you that chart in a second. Let me just finish off. Let me actually go back to Susan's comment. What's the upside for investors buying these coins? You know what? I mean, here's my take on it is, with GBLC, part of it is the coin thing, but really what you're really buying with the GBLC is that you're buying into the story that they're going to be putting money into other crypto related deals, and that's what the business is going to be about. So the coin holdings is just part of it. I know they're saying that's the big deal, but I think that's just part of it. And look, I think this thing is with as the Bitcoin explodes, this thing is going to do very well. Let me look at VIN. Pretty nice looking chart. So again, this is in momentum mode. So this stock is already in momentum mode, which is rare in this market. You can kind of see the breakouts here, right? You can see kind of the pattern of what's going on here. Number one, breakout number one. Wow, look at this, 6 cents. Right here. Here we go again. So every time it runs, it basically, what does it do? It basically, how big is the average move? 20 cents. It's basically a double from every breakout. So it could, from here, it could hang out here a little bit, but the next level on this stock, I think, is 50, 60 cents plus. Higher. The market cap is pretty small. I mean, it was like a 20 million market cap. This thing is really, I think, in a good setup for a big move. So here we go. Yeah. I think Venergy is a pretty good position. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I mean, this chart is definitely in an uptrend, and this thing it is really set up for a. I mean, this thing is set up for like a double, easy double, I believe. Look at this. If you like momentum stocks, this is the one for you. Okay, so let's go into TBP. So let's go to a couple stocks which are kind of hanging out, waiting for that market momentum to kick in. TBP is one of them. So TBP, again, we introduced this right over here. It was around 17 cents. It kind of popped to 20s. It's been selling off. It's been hanging out. I think this is really, it's kind of doing this kind of pennant here, flag, if you will, before it breaks out. So I think this is in a very good position. When this again, this is one of these stocks when it starts running, it's going to be crazy, and they have some really good fundamentals shaping up. I mean, if you look at the comps, it's very undervalued based on where um, where it should be compared to other companies. In the biotech and the drug development space. I mean, if based on what they have, I mean, this could be a a couple dollar stock, $2-3 stock. I think the CEO himself said that. Of course, anytime a CEO says something, obviously they're gonna, they have a they're involved, so you can't take it on face value. If the guy says, "Hey, the stock is worth $10," it doesn't mean it's worth $10. It means that's his opinion. But it's good that he says that. Um, so again, if you look at this chart, this is, I believe, is in a perfect position to go back to a dollar plus. I, I think TBP is going to be one of our big winners of the year. Let's go into another stock right now. There's a couple of similar looking charts right now. Trip. No, actually, no. Trip is not the same. It's a little different. So Trip. I'm gonna go. There's a few others look like Trip. Trip is actually, it's. I think it's in a pretty good position. Again, it had that nasty spill last week. From this was right after the volcano. The Saint Vincent volcano. So they have a one of their deals is they're going to have this psychedelic center retreat, place in Saint Vincent. Todd was there for the last couple of months. He's apparently, they got to do this deal with the government, or I don't know. It's you're dealing with these third world countries. Things don't happen overnight. Actually, maybe it's better. Maybe it's faster if this was like the U.S. or Canada for sure. So, but then they had the volcano exploded, and this is the crazy thing. So I think the market got panicked, although where they are doing their thing is not near the volcano. But I think that's also that's going to be another reason for the government to kind of push this through, because they're going to need the revenue coming in. Todd is actually back in Canada. He was ironically, we met last week for the first time. He was in Miami. He was evacuated. We had dinner on his last Thursday. He's alive. He'll be back this week. So I think he's going to be. I think he's in quarantine. I think they got to do this thing in Canada for a couple of days or something like that. That maybe they're locked up for was it all this crazy stuff. I mean, I'm sure I'll have a good story for all of you to enjoy about the volcano. But they got some things they're working on. They got $30 million in cash. Psychedelics is going to be one of the big themes this year. So that is so that stock is in a good position. The chart looks pretty decent right now. I mean, this thing is definitely oversold. I mean, look, you had it from 70 cents to 27 cents. So you have 60%. This is kind of the level where you want to start getting in. If you like the story, this is kind of the level where it makes sense. And you have this kind of double bottom happening here. Let me look at the 1 hour chart. Yeah. So there you go. So this it needs a little push right here, and if this thing can close in this 30-cent range or something, if it gets a push and it closes in this 30-cent range, that's going to be that's going to help it get that momentum to go back to the new highs. So Trip is actually looking pretty decent right here. So we did TBP. What else is going on? We got ESE. ESE, again, very similar to Trip earlier. You had this kind of ugly spill happen here below the $2.20 range, which was really the key support range right here, 250, 225, even the $2 range. So yeah, it's looking a little bit ugly right here. Let's look at this is the 1 day chart. Okay, yeah. So, however, it could, let's see what happens this week. It could have a nice turnaround here because that's what these things kind of tend to do. Overall, I think it's in a good position here. The question is, where is it going to be the bottom? It's somewhere right around here, I believe. It could close this gap, possibly. I mean, it could happen. $1.70. I would not be surprised. But I mean, that could happen because just again, the market right now is just pushing people right to the brink, um, and then that would be I think that would be the bottom, and then it needs a little base. Conrad is going to be back this week. They just closed their deal. What is it, $14 million revenues this company's bringing in. So yeah, I mean, look at this. I mean, these stocks are doing really, really, yeah, they're making progress. Um, okay, so that's ESC. Let's go into Visby. Very similar. Look at this, like this ugly spill on Friday. Overall, the chart is looking pretty decent. I mean, it's kind of like the peak fintech chart. It's just looking for a reason to break out. Once it breaks out, it's going to be $1.50, $2 plus. But right now, it's looking a little shaky. I think it's overall pretty strong. Visby. Well, let's look at Relay. The Relay is looking a little bit like a Trip. Again, Thursday, Friday, ugly spill right here. Great interview with the CEO on Friday. You got to check out that interview with Clark Kent, Superman. You got to check out that interview. Yeah, I tell you, here's what's interesting with Relay. You got to watch that interview so you can understand what they're doing. It's pretty interesting. So here's the deal. I know this COVID testing thing, I've been saying, hey, the COVID thing. So the reality is, even when this COVID thing kind of, goes away, whatever, it's really not. The testing thing is going to be here to stay. This because governments love this testing idea because it's two things. One is they're freaked out by the possibility of having to shut down their economies again. So they're definitely like airports. I really believe that this testing thing is going to be a big deal. It's going to be here to stay in a lot of countries, and it's also like a revenue source for them. But beyond COVID, you're not going to have just this COVID-19. You're going to have COVID 21, 22. There's always going to be new infectious diseases. Does anybody remember SARS? Yeah, this, that. These things are coming at a more and more rapid pace, and governments want to get ahead of these things. They don't want to be in the situation again, so they can kind of sort of be able to monitor any kind of disease coming into the country. Yeah, they're in a good position, and Relay's technology kind of enables that, like a rapid testing, also the data to get that data from the tests into this, what do you call, secure system, into their database. It connects all that other good stuff, because it's really not the test. The test doesn't mean anything. The test is worthless. What matters is getting that test data into, the cloud, the big database, so that people, the government, whatever it is, can know what's going on. Is there an outbreak here, or this or that? And also to, clear your, I don't know, let you in, whatever it is. So the Relay situation is looking good. They got some cash. They got some other interesting things going on in the company. They got a couple of interesting initiatives. That I think what they call a Pharma Track product, which is, I think, could be much bigger than even this testing thing. That's the thing that lets you kind of tracks the same kind of platform that he showed, but it kind of essentially lets you track the pills, if you have like prescriptions, to kind of monitor if you're taking your stuff, all that stuff. So that's what that does. A huge market opportunity. So that's a Relay. RHT. Let's look at RHT. Okay. RHT. Again, this is a stock that I have big hopes for. I shouldn't say hopes. I mean, I think this is It's more of a expectations is the right word. Yeah, so really good interview this week. Great news from the company. I mean, this is typical story. Here's a company that is, they're doing all the right things. I mean, they're getting these contracts coming in, and every other week they're announcing a new contract. They're going to have people coming onto their platform. So this thing, they're going to be, what is it? What did Lisa say? They're going to be profitable this quarter, the next quarter. So, this thing is at an inflection point, which is, what we look for. Inflection point in terms of turning the corner to profitability, more new contracts. Their platform becomes more and more valuable. So, I mean, this could be a massive winner. This stock is kind of looking just for a reason to make that big move. So I think this is in a good position. It's amazing that everybody who was chasing these stocks, just a month ago, now they're kind of have left the building. Yeah, I agree. Trip, yeah, I think Trip this week we could see some action. RHT, SHG. SHG chart is it's kind of, you had this last what is it, March 31st. Again, a lot of stocks March 31st kind of looked like that was, they were bottoming. I think SHG definitely, this looked amazing on March, this $1.25 move, closing above $1.25, looked amazing. $1.30, I mean, this thing looked like it was about to go to the moon. And then the air left the balloon right here. I mean, this is crazy how these things are happening with a lot of these stocks. So it looks a little weak right now, like it's probably going to retest this $1.15 range. That's kind of what the chart is saying. Overall, the trend is still up. But yeah, let me see the 1 hour. Maybe the 1 hour looks better. No, it's kind of, it's not looking great. Fundamentals of this company are amazing. I mean, this thing is really, I mean, the growth story, the acquisitions, the whole business model is incredible. The idea of doing these acquisitions of healthcare clinics, taking the revenues, essentially 10xing the revenues with kind of the new business model makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think what did Pratt say they could do, a couple $100 million in revenues this year, based on the business or acquisitions they could bring in. So Skylight is in a really good position fundamentally. It just needs to get this thing under control here. Let's see what other stuff. So let's go into. Let's cover our favorites here. Is anybody interested in bets? Is anybody interested in bets? All right, so here's what's going on with bets. The chart looks amazing. This thing is going to go to the moon. No, unfortunately, what is going on with this chart? It's flat line. What does this mean? This thing has been halted for the last week. This type of situation, unusual. What happened with bets here is, I mean, this is like the soap opera. I mean, you guys can, I'm sure there's people who are following this on Discord. So let me kind of, and I don't think I've talked about it on any of the live streams. So let me kind of bring you up to speed on what's going on here. So bets we introduced this back in early February, had a nice little run here from, what is it, 50-cent range to 90-cent range, and then the market sell-off, and right into March 31st, right? Almost right into here, yeah. You had Chris, this is crazy. So we have the officially former CEO, Chris, great interview, right? Says, hey, they can do all these great things. They got the contracts, U.S. market. Stock explodes. I mean, this thing looked like it was going to go to $2. Next day, we find out he's no longer the CEO. There's a lot of whatever he said, she said type of thing going on. I understand Chris is saying things now. He's taking it back. It is that officially, okay, he's not the CEO. This is the official thing. I'm expecting, from what I understand, the stock should have been. I think they were gonna. Last week it was supposed to be Tuesday, Wednesday was when they were gonna have everything kind of cleared up, and the stock was gonna, be trading again. And so now we're at Friday. We're going into Monday. Hopefully, it's gonna be everything resolved. But in the meanwhile, we had, just so you know, okay, so we had the new, not that he's not the new CEO, he had the chief strategy officer, one of the operations guys on, that was Saxon. I think the guy did a very good job explaining the fundamentals of the company. He didn't really want to talk too much about, this internal politics thing, because that's not his department really. He's really, that's not his thing. His business is bringing in, people to sign up on their platform, and supposedly that is going very well. I'd like to get an update on that. When he was on, he was talking about some of the numbers they were bringing in, which are amazing. Again, what they're doing is, right now their focus is India, essentially. There's this betting thing in India, and that is a huge opportunity. So, yeah, I don't know. Listen, he's well. By the way, I know he's on. I think that's him. He's on our Discord channel. By the way, if anybody wants to join our Discord channel, might as well take this opportunity. If you want to join our Discord, the link is in the video description below. Also, the link to our Telegram. You definitely want to join our Telegram channel. It's free. So yeah, I don't know. Listen, Chris is saying a lot of things. I have heard things from the company which are completely the other side. So this thing is going to be resolved, I think, this week. Definitely, we have. I guess that's the icon for drama. I guess, right? The actor. So you're getting a little bit of a soap opera here. I haven't seen. I don't think I've. Do I remember? No, I don't remember seeing anything like this type of thing before. I mean, this is one of these unusual things in the penny stock world. So it's going to get resolved. I mean, I've heard the company saying one thing. He's saying, yeah, officially though, he's not the CEO. That is the official deal. Let's hope it gets resolved this week, because I know we got a lot of people who are in the stock. We got a lot of people who bought the stock in the 70-cent range. We got a lot of people in the 70-cent range. I know some big investors who are, annoyed. Let's just say they're annoyed with what's going on. So let's get this thing resolved and get this thing trading. We gotta get this thing moving here. Okay, what else is going on here? So that's bets. We covered bets. And that's it. I mean, yeah, so bets is that's going to be the big thing to watch this week. Hopefully this gets resolved, because, I mean, great fundamental story. I mean, it's amazing. Watch the interview with Chris, the last interview. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, he probably, may have said some things which are a little bit, shall we say, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to use the word exaggeration, but enthusiasm. I'll use the word enthusiasm. So, some things may be a little bit hyped up, but the fundamentals, I believe, are there. I agree. I mean, listen. I think the guy did a great interview. That's my perspective. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm hearing different things from different, the company's saying one thing, he's saying, I haven't talked to Chris, so I don't know, again, he's going to say what he's saying. The companies has their thing, which, to me sounds, well, it sounds pretty plausible. So, that's the deal. Stocks to watch this week. Let's recap. Peak, Peak FinTech looking really good. Peak FinTech is really probably most like this is like the high school yearbook. The most likely to succeed. This is most likely to break out as Peak FinTech this week, meaning $4. This thing can just explode. What are the stocks look like they could run? Vinergy. Watch the interview on Tuesday. I think it's going to be amazing. I think you're going to be very impressed with this new CEO. Oh, NVGs is one of the stocks. So here's a new stock we introduced. Again, if this was December, this would have already doubled. But that's not what's happening right now. So NVG, I think we're going to have them back this week. I think they have some news. They have some series of news announcements. I know that they get some deals that they're working on, which we should be seeing some things happening in the next couple of weeks. So this is, if you look at the chart right here, the short-term chart, you have a flag forming here, so it could break to this 30-cent range. So this could be a nice little mover. Not a lot. I mean, you can't see a lot from this chart because it's still a very thinly traded stock, so you're not going to see anything in this 1-hour chart. I think we're going to have the CEO back on Friday. But yeah, this is very similar. I was going to say very similar to our TBP chart. So TBP, Vinergy, these are like, again, you're getting into these things kind of really at the bottom. That's the thing I like. They're really like flat line. You're not buying into the momentum thing. You're buying them right at the bottom. So it's looking, looking really good. So you got Peak FinTech looks very good for this week. FCO could make a move. Where is FCO? Yeah, FCO. Yeah, I mean this FCO chart. You look at this. Yeah, this thing. It gets a little momentum above 20 cents. You could see a big move. Fans Unite, I think, is in a good spot. So we had them on last week. We should have, we should have a couple things coming up. We got the UK gaming license that's in the pipeline. The esports deal. There's a lot of exciting things happening there. So charts are looking pretty good for this week. Also is fans. So you got fans, you got FCO. Vinergy is in that momentum mode. You got TBP and NVG looking pretty good here also. So those are kind of those are your movers of the week. FCO this week. Okay, so that is the reason to get into this. I don't know what's. I can't. I really don't want to get involved with I can't talk about things. I don't know. It's not my position to say things. CBDT were so again CBDT were kind of out of the picture for the moment. Our sort of our contract with them was up, I don't know, a few weeks ago. I haven't heard from Steve. I reached out to Steve over the last month a bunch of times. To do an update. When the stock was in that $1.50, after that big explosion, was still hanging out in that $1.50 range. I said, Steve, we got to do an update. We got to get you on. I don't hear from the guy in a month. So he was like MIA. So I'm like thinking, what's going on? So we're kind of, I'm kind of out of the CBDT thing. I don't want to say, I don't want to say, but by the way, this is not meant in any kind of negative way. I mean, sometimes stocks, we've basically done the job. The CBDT has its own kind of organic base right now. There's not a lot of value we could add at this point. I mean, it's not like we're going to be bringing in a bigger audience to CBDT. They already have, a huge audience that we've basically, excuse me, helped develop in the last 6 months. It's on its own right now. They have like, what is it, 50 people on their chat room in, was it CEOCA, whatever they got, so I don't know. At this point, they need to, get those clinics going, all that other good stuff, and God bless. I mean, so there's a couple of stocks. And again, we need to bring in new stocks. That's our business. Bring in fresh stuff which is unknown and make it known, so that the value is created. So there's a couple of stocks that are kind of have graduated, as we say. So we got CBDT has graduated. Also, what do you call it? What the hell is it? The joint making thing. So that's it. We got two new stocks we've brought in this month. We got Vinergy and NVG to take up that space. And we're going to keep things kind of pretty tight. We're not going to be bringing too many new companies, I don't think, in the next month or so. I want to get things moving with these guys, but I can. That's the one. I can. So yeah, so I can. I mean, yeah. I mean, I kind of actually I can. I don't think that one, is really that one, is something where the audience is not that one is not kind of on its own, but it really. They haven't had any news flow, and we need the news flow. So our platform depends on companies putting out a lot of news flow, the CEO being on our platform regularly. So when companies can't do that, like, what's the point? I mean, what's the point? Like, we had the thing last year. What is it? September. What the hell is that? The engine thing, the diesel thing. The TSX listed company. They're supposed to have news, and they never had news after they came on a couple times. So, what's the point, right? We need, again, our brand is all about inflection point, news flow, momentum. That is what we need. So companies don't do that. Like, we're not the platform for them. That's, by the way, that is not the case with. I don't think that's not the case with CBDT. That's just, I don't think I can add anything there, and I didn't hear from the guy in a month, so I'm assuming, I don't know what. Although I did get a text, I think they want to do something, but like at this point, we need to move on. We need to move on. We need, I can't do these things where I don't hear from somebody for a month. But let's see here. Yeah, so Delic. Let me cover Delic real quick here. Delic. Yeah, look at this. The stock popped the other day right after we had that great interview. And then it comes right back down. I mean, this is kind of what's been happening quite a bit in the last, 2 months. This does look like the base pretty much is 30. This is the key support right here, 37. It could go a little bit lower, 30 cents. It could. It really could. And then, onwards and upwards. Keep in mind, a lot of our biggest winners are stocks that they start off slow, and then over a period of a few months they build an audience and things happen, and then they took off. That was the case with Fans. I mean, Fans actually was stuck. I mean, it was like what, in the 20-cent range for a couple months. Same thing with CBDT. Same thing with what is it? Cytodyne. Cytodyne. I don't know if a lot of people here are relatively new, but Cytodyne is a stock we introduced at 50 cents. It was in that range for months, and then it starts moving, and then it goes to $10. So Cytodyne went from 50 cents to $10. But that big move, first it went to $1.50, then it was in a little bit of a range, and then it broke out. But yeah, a lot of times these stocks, they will go down for a little bit here, and then they move. I think we need, yeah. In other words, this 10 bagger thing is, before, up until the last year or so, 2 years, a 10 bagger was a big deal. It's like very unusual to have a 10 bagger, and we've had like 7 of them in the last year, 7 plus, right? We've had okay, so Next Tech 13x, Cytodyne 20x, Imagine AR 17x. We have ESC and fans, both 10x. Actually, ESC is like 14x. I believe that's already 5. CBDT is 50x. That's 6. We have Peak FinTech, which is 8x right now. Who else do we have? That's 7. Let's call it 7. There might be, I think there's another one I'm not remembering right now. But yeah, we've had like 7 big, massive winners this year in, let's call it last, 12 months, 18 months. It's very unusual. So that we have had 7 massive, between not just 10x, but 50x, 20x. And it's not like we have 1,000 stocks that we introduced. We've introduced, how many stocks? We've probably introduced 30 stocks, probably, in this time. So 32 maybe. And the others are up big. I mean, there's a bunch that are up 5x, 7x. But the most recent ones, it's been a little slow. No, Peak. Oh yeah, no. Right now it's in the range. Yeah. Oh, Fubo, which Fubo. Yeah, it's a stock we introduced at $9 and went to 6D, 6O. Yeah, everything is going down 10x. I agree. Everything is, not only is it going to go to dollar, it's going to go negative. So if you buy the stock now at like $1, you're going to owe $10. That's what's going to happen. No. So basically, yeah. So I think this, in the next month, it's going to be difficult to squeeze out those 10 baggers. I think it's going to be difficult. It's going to be more of like doubles, triples, 5x. But maybe I'm wrong, because the markets can turn on a dime. We've seen this over and over again. Yeah, logic. I mean, it's kind of stuck. It's in the base range. I don't chart. Again, they're kind of like Peak. They're going to close that financing. Ironically, both companies are doing this deal with was it Mackey Research, or maybe they changed their name, I think, to something else. But yeah, they're both raising a bunch of cash, so that's looking good. If crypto, yeah, I mean, listen, I think the crypto thing is going, I think Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000, and when it does, if Bitcoin goes to 100,000, which I'm convinced it will, even though I don't really care for it, that bodes very, very well for VIN and also GBLC. I mean, those things are going to go crazy. Happy, Happy, yeah, they need the chips, man. No chips, no happiness. I think that's probably what's going on here. I mean, the story is amazing. Happy, I believe, from a fundamental standpoint, might be the greatest story ever. I mean, I've come across. I mean, there's a company that creates feelings on demand. I mean, we've had people actually in our audience. Some of the guys on this live stream are customers. They tell me it works. By the way, and this really could be the bottom right here. Because this is, if you look at this is like a double bottom, and everybody's given up on the stock. I mean, everybody's disgusted with it already. Yeah, this is it. I mean, look at this. What a horrible chart right here. Well, the only good thing to say about Happy is that it moved up after we announced it. So, I mean, So yeah, so it moved up. What I think we introduced it right here, right? So I think it was right around the, let's call it 75 cents. It almost doubles and then collapse. So, and this is when the whole market starts going bad. So yeah, so that's what's going on. Happy, I think, is gonna turn around here at some point, but we're gonna go through a rough couple of months. I am really again. This is the hard part about investing. I mean, everybody wants to get rich quick. Everybody wants to make 10x, 100x immediately. Stocks only go up, but this is the other half of it. Like stocks only go up maybe what is it, a third of the time, not even a third, maybe 20% of the time. They're going down 20%, 30% of the time. And the rest of the time, a lot of times they're in kind of in a range. So now we're kind of in a base. A lot of the stocks, I think we've seen the worst. I think we've definitely seen the worst of most of the stocks right now. And they're building the bases. Actually, some of them haven't even started to build a base. So we might be in for a couple of months of just a grind, a long grind. Like it's gonna be, it might be very boring. Marcel put the thing on his cat, and the cat is like, I mean, when he put the cat happy thing on his cat, and the cat is all of a sudden making billions of dollars trading Bitcoin. I mean, because the happy thing gave the cat like super Bitcoin trading powers. I mean, I think everybody should start buying these things if they can get their hands on one. That's the thing, is the inventory is very tight right now. That's because of the lack of there's a lack of these computer chips. It's causing big problems for a lot of companies. Ford, I think, shut down was the F-150 production line, a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of delays right now. The whole pandemic is screwing up a lot of things. I mean, it's really caused a lot of dislocation in the market. I mean, try getting an Uber or a Lyft car to the airport. At least in the U.S., I know it's like it's impossible. All these drivers there's no drivers. Everybody's hanging out at home, getting the free money from the government. So there's a lot of nonsense going on in the markets. But anyway, so we covered all the winning stocks. I'll see you in the next live stream. We could have a couple big things this week, so make sure you subscribe to the Telegram channel, because that's where you're going to see it first. The link is in the video description below. Click the link, join our Telegram, and make not just 10x, but 100x.